Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. It's December 17th, 1950, and we're joining Korean War for the first time. As you may know, this is the period immediately after Chinese intervention, and United Nations troops led by United States are now retreating very rapidly in front of advancing Chinese forces. Apart from the Chinese, the Soviets also decided to join the war, but unlike the Chinese, they were doing it in a covert manner. They deployed their fighter units, equipped with the latest, most advanced MiG-15 fighter, and they essentially pretended to be North Koreans. They painted their airplanes with North Korean insignia, they limited use of radio, and so on. And MiG-15 was a major game changer. United Nations forces at the time operated fighter types such as F-80 Shooting Star, F-84 Thunderjet, plus some older World War II designs such as Mustang. All of this was more than adequate against North Korean Air Force, which was rather small and equipped only with Soviet World War II airplanes. But now as MiG-15 appeared, the situation changed completely because MiG-15 was completely superior to any type operated by UN forces at the moment. So United States had no other option but to involve their own most advanced fighter, F-86 Sabre. Sabre and MiG-15 were two very similar designs, similar in performance, similar even in appearance, and that was no coincidence because they were both very closely based on German World War II research captured by the Allies. Another interesting episode was a rather naive decision by the British government to sell their most advanced Rolls-Royce jet engine to the Soviet Union on condition that it would only be used for civilian purposes. They probably made Russians pinky swear or something like that, and surprise surprise, Russians reverse engineered the engine and used it on their MiG-15 fighter. The first Sabre unit to operate in Korea was 4th Fighter Interceptor Wing. It was initially scheduled to operate from Pyongyang, North Korea, but as UN troops had to retreat, it soon became obvious that there was no option, so instead Kimpo airfield near Seoul, South Korea was chosen. Commander of the 336 Squadron, Lieutenant Col Bruce Hinton, led his men on several orientation flights into North Korea. None of them resulted with any encounters with the MiGs, but now on December 17 they decided to try and lure the MiGs by pretending to be F-80 Shooting Stars, flying at the altitude usually operated by shooting stars and using their call signs. And as you will be able to see very soon, it worked, and MiG-15s made an appearance. Let me just make a small disclaimer here. This Sabre model flown here is the F model. Model used on this historic mission was A model, the first one. Unfortunately, we don't have anything else other than the F model in DCS World, and we probably never will, so we have to make this approximation. After arriving in the area near Yalu River, near Chinese border, Sabre flight encountered a MiG-15 flight. There were 4 MiG-15s flying on lower altitude, and they were climbing towards the Sabres. Sabres then decided to dive at the MiGs, which led to their formation being split in 2 elements. The lead Sabre element, led by Lieutenant Colonel Hinton, decided to pursue the lead MiG element, while the trailing second Sabre element pursued the second MiG element. Okay, there they are. Okay, we're going after the wingman. And we're back at Kimpo airfield. This was a reenactment of the first F-86 air-to-air kill ever. It was scored by Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Hinton. This was no epic dogfight with 10 minutes of fancy high-G maneuvers, and it also illustrated one major problem that Sabres would have until the end of the war, and that was a lack of punch. Sabre's main weapons were 6 machine guns, which were sufficient in World War II, but by the time of Korean War, they were not powerful enough. MiG-15 was a rather sturdy design, and in many cases American pilots would claim kills, which on gun camera seemed like a sure kill. But in fact, in many of those cases, MiG-15s managed to return to base, although heavily damaged. Even Lieutenant Colonel Hinton had to discharge almost his entire ammunition load to score his kill. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to press the like button. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Feel free to comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and keep watching Showtime 112.